Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Me and Mrs. Seasons are heading over to a place called Dinnington. It's just outside from the airport. Now, we have a property there that we've owned for about 5 years, a buy-to-let property, and our team's been in and stripped it back to its bare bones. Now, let's go over there, take a look, let's see what it looks like, what condition it's in, what could be done to improve it, what can't be done, and let's see what figures are involved and what money there is. Because ultimately, if, like us, you're a buy-to-let landlord, and let's be honest, in the UK now, there's most, not all obviously, but most people eventually do own an extra property. So it's not like we're doing something out of the norm. Let's go over and take a look and see what it's all about. So without further ado, let's head over there. Dinnington, unbelievably, was voted one of the poshest places to live in Britain. If you Google it, you'll see. But, well, when you see us drive over there, Mrs. Seasons will take some footage and you can be the judge of that and see what you think. Let's go, guys. So we're just about near the airport, which is about a couple of miles from Dinnington, which is probably why Dinnington's so popular. And Dinnington is near Ponteland, and Ponteland is notoriously quite an up-and-coming wealthy area, which is also adjoining Darras Hall, which is a very posh area. So Dinnington has got the label of being a posh place, I think, purely because of its geographical location, so close to the airport and so close to Ponteland. But when you see it, and you will see it very soon, it's not that posh. Whoa, what are you doing, you silly taxi man? These taxi drivers, they're a rule to themselves. There's not that much in Dinnington, I don't think. Now, we've had this property 5 years, and we've had a couple of tenants come and go. It's been a good property. We didn't do a lot to it in the beginning. We gave it a lick of paint, the usual, new carpets, made it nice for the tenants, and it was pre-COVID. The rents were quite low back then, and as a lot of landlords know now, the rents have shot up since COVID. This property is showing its age. It was showing its age, and we've took the decision to strip it out and do some work to it, get it refurbished, make a decision as to whether we're going to rent it again or whether we're going to sell this. So we're going to have to see how the refurb goes, do the figures, do the math, and see where we end up. My inclination at this stage is that it's probably going to be rented out again, but at a much higher rent and to a much better level of tenant. Because one of the problems when you've got a property that gets dated is the type of tenant you attract. It seems that if you give tenants a good property, they tend to respect it and look after it far better than if you give them a property that's quite dated. And things, unfortunately, then it just spirals down and out of control. I mean, this property, we gave it a fresh lick of paint, but the kitchen was dated, the bathroom was dated, and I'll try and put some photos up now, if I can find them, of the condition it was in. So hopefully I can find them and I'll put them up now. But we're going to be seeing it at this stage with everything stripped back, and we're going to make some decisions on what needs doing, what we found, what could be done and what couldn't be done. Here's Dinnington, by the way, and you know, it's a lot of ex-local authority, nothing wrong with that, but you've got a couple of pubs, you've got a little corner shop, you've got a little primary school, and you've got quite a lot of new builds outside of Dinnington. On the sort of peripheral borders, you've got a couple of new builds, quite large projects, and it's quite a strange place. I mean, I've been to this property a few times and there's some quite interesting characters knocking about. So here we are at the property, guys. As you can see, the refurb's well underway, the skip is full, and I'm looking to see if anybody's done any slide tipping, because you get that quite often where you put a skip out and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. But it looks like it's all our stuff, so that's good. Right, let's have a look through here. Now, this property has a massive side garden, as you can see here, which is one of the things that attracted us to it. It's also got this front garden, which is a good size. It's a little bit overgrown. I'm actually getting the gardener out soon to come and sort of get on top of it so that we can keep it under control. But yeah, this side garden's almost as big as the house. I thought we might actually get permission to build another property on the end, because you literally, the footprint is big enough to fit this entire house on the end. And that was what really did appeal to us. You can hear the planes taking off there. So it is close to the airport, which is a benefit to many. You've got the back garden here. It's a bit of rubbish left, which we need to get rid of. And it's got a very good back garden, and it's got this wall, which kind of makes it like ready to rock and roll, you know? Like, it's literally almost segregated and ready to build. Great family house though, you know, it could certainly be extended, and that would make it a phenomenal place. But I thought it could even be a separate dwelling. Right then, let's head in and see what the first impressions are like. Here we go. So the guys have been in. Oh, it's a funny smell. Yeah, strange smell. What have we got? Let's have a look. Living room. Now, this living room is tiny. The camera's maybe not doing it justice, I'm not sure, but the living room itself is pretty small, and you've got this entrance hallway. Now, I wanted to take this wall down because it felt like a stud partition wall. Both sides seem hollow, but then when we dug a hole in here, we discovered there is actually a line of brick in there. So yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of ruined the idea of being able to knock that wall down. So this wall's been stripped back, but if you can see this, there's movement in the plaster. So that all needs to come off. And you know what it is? We normally just, I've got such a good team of decorators, they can come in and they can make any wall look good. But on this one, I just feel it needs plastering. So we've had a plasterer out, he's quoted, we've agreed with the quotation, and this room will be getting replastered. The Sparky, or electrician for those who are not in the know, has been out and he has changed the sockets from singles to doubles, so he's got them all ready. That's good. He's done some good work. He's brought all the sockets and the switches off the wall so that the plasterer will have an easier time, which is quite important. All the switches will be getting changed to new ones, and we've also started taking radiators off. So that's all the sockets all around the house. All the singles have been changed to doubles, and all of the switches will be changed to new ones, and that's literally around the entire house. So let's continue the journey. The whole house pretty much had coving, you know, the very cheap looking coving around the edge. So we've had that taken off, and the plasterer has assured me that he'll be able to tie that together, so that'll be looking all nice and smooth. We're going to get this wall here replastered, reskimmed, and this wall as well. The ceiling in here is not too bad, no Artex or anything like that, so we're going to leave that for now. Again, the Sparky's taken all the light fittings off the ceiling, ready for the plastering and ready for putting new bayonets on. This whole frame, because of this house, it's such a quirky layout. It's got this door going on to this door, which is a boiler door. So you can imagine living here and you had a door going on to a door and tenants were just taking the door off. So decided to take this whole frame off and just have it plastered, so it's just a nice opening to come into the kitchen area, and then we'll put a new door on for this boiler. We're not sure if this boiler needs changing yet. The gas engineer is going to come out, do a service. He's got some new radiators to put on because we're going to change all the radiators in the property, and yeah, so he's going to check the boiler. Hopefully it doesn't need changing, but you can see there's the coving. It's been taken down. This being the kitchen area, and this being like the kitchen diner, which is a good size. But if you think about the layout, you've got quite a small living room with quite a large kitchen diner area, which is quite unusual. The one thing about this property, it is ex-local authority, but it's a good size. I mean, you've got a really good utility room here. And actually this doesn't need skimming. This is all right. This can be decorated. We've added these spotlights in because there was just a single light here. So we've added these spotlights, put 2 new sockets here, and it's such a quirky layout that actually we need to have the fridge freezer in here and the tumble dryer for any tenants that might live here. Let's head upstairs and take a look. Now I've got to watch my head. I'm quite tall and this is very low and I've banged my head off it quite a few times. Very annoying. So yeah, we've stripped all the walls here, all the wallpaper's off. It's the front of the house. You know, decent landing, decent enough. Now, the contentious part of this house is the bathroom, because it's a small bathroom. You've got space literally for a bath here. We're going to put a shower over the bath and a sink here. And that's pretty much all you're going to get in a bathroom of this size. You can see what was on before. This was what was covering the entirety, this cladding. It was horrific. So that's all coming out. Towel radiator will go here. This house has a separate toilet. Now, some people love that, some people hate it. It's quite useful if you've got families that don't want to share bathrooms and this, that, the other, like the privacy, just want to nip to the loo if somebody's on the shower. But yeah, separate toilet, doesn't need anything doing, so that's fine. But that's the soil pipe running down here, and that's what's causing the issues in the kitchen, because the soil pipe literally runs down the middle of the kitchen. Oh, now this is exciting, always good to see. Fresh plaster on the walls there. So I didn't actually expect the plaster to be out already, but he's been. And this room has been skimmed. This is the smaller of the 3 bedrooms. It's a 3-bedroom property. Not sure why he hasn't done that wall. Maybe he's going to be coming back. Oh, you can see he's already beaded it here. So he will be finishing this off. He must have just run out of plaster or run out of time. But he said he'd be doing a room a night. He's going to do it on the evenings for us. So it's quite good that he's already been out and started. That's excellent. This is the 2nd bedroom. And light switch off, ready. Walls are stripped and ready for plastering. Good size room, you know, double room. Just a bit annoying that you've got that chimney breast coming up there, but again, so much work involved to take that out, and at this stage of this particular development we want a quick turnaround, you know, because time is money ultimately. This is a storage cupboard in here, just a little storage cupboard, quite handy. And this is the bigger of the bedrooms. No idea what was going on here. At one point, somebody had some very interesting colours going on the wall. And sienna is on the wall there. But yes, all the coving had to come out. And we've got this like horrible Artex on a lot of the ceilings, so we've just took the decision that we have to skim them and get a better finish. So you can see what it looks like now, guys, and then obviously as it progresses we'll keep you updated and we'll sort of show you how things come along. But you know, other observations, the door, unfortunately our team, when they were ripping the carpet up, they've managed to damage the door here, and we took the decision to change the doors. We will be changing the doors. For the sake, excuse me, the dust got me. I mean, there's going to be 9 doors in total that need changing, and I think for the sake of what will probably realistically be £500 to £600 with them fitted, it's worth getting them changed. There isn't even a door on the living room, so that certainly needs doing. But yeah, it's a quirky property for sure. It's got some positives, some negatives. The positives are the location, the garden size. Yeah, garden size, the kitchen diner, potentially great. Good local access to town, the airport. The negatives, in my opinion, on this property are the small living room with this chimney breast. It did actually have shelving here. This came out to here, and all of this was shelving, so we've actually taken that away to gain back a little bit more room. But yeah, negatives are the living room size, and the quirky layout. It's got such a unique layout, and this soil pipe is annoying because it's literally right where you don't want it. Right in the kitchen, it's affecting the design. Now when you stand back and have a look, you'll see what I mean, and I'll show you in a second, and you can think how you would get a good kitchen in here. It's quite... Uh-oh, we have problems. We have ants. We're going to have to investigate this. And there's obviously been an ongoing problem here with ants because there's ant powder just here underneath the kitchen. So yeah, an ongoing issue for sure. Maybe it's these gaps. There's some gaps knocking around. It could be the gaps down the back of here, needs filling in with some masonry. But yeah, we've got ants getting in somewhere, so that'll need to be resolved. The plaster will be sealing all that in, so that's good. You can just see them in there. Not good. So let's run over a quick list of exactly what's getting done, or what has been done, and what is going to get done in this property, and see then if you guys can estimate in the comments maybe how much you think it cost. And then further down the line, as the project rolls on, I'll be popping back on and I will give you all the maths and the numbers. So the full house was stripped of wallpaper. The whole house. Our decorator came in and that was the first thing he did. He's very good at it, but he did find a problem with this wall, hence why we're plastering a lot of it, because there's like this old paint that's been left on and you can see it's just peeling, and it's impossible to get a good finish on a wall with this sort of old, almost like vinyl paint. So yeah, he stripped all the wallpaper off in every room, and took the kitchen out. All the kitchen was removed, the bathroom, put it into the skip outside. So that was the first part of the project. The second part of the project is we got a gas fitter in and he disconnected the gas in the kitchen and he took all the radiators off the walls. So it's called a first fix, basically. He's come in and done his first fix, take all the radiators off, isolate the gas. So that was the second part of the project so far. The third part of the project was our Sparky, aka electrician. He came in and he took all the sockets off the walls. He added some spotlights in the utility, some spotlights in this dining area. He put some new sockets in, changed singles to doubles. There was a fair bit of work, but so far not a huge amount of work, but he will be coming in for second fix, and then he will be putting on the new switches, the new bayonets and everything else. We decided to do that because it means the decorators can come in and they can get a good finish with the paint without having to go around sockets. Whether some people like to do that, some people don't. I just personally think it's a better way to get a better finish, as long as you've got a Sparky that can put sockets on without making a mess, because they tend to like to have dirty fingerprints, and then when they put the sockets on it can leave a mess. But our Sparky is very good, he's very clean, so I know that when the decorator's finally been in, once all the walls are plastered, he's been in and painted them all, the Sparky can then come in and just reattach the sockets. That leads on to the fourth part of the project, which is the plasterers, who have come in or will be coming in, and they'll be plastering this room in its entirety, all of the kitchen, so all of these walls here and here. The ceiling's okay, so this ceiling doesn't need doing, but they do need to tie in where we took the coving away, so they'll need to do that. They're plastering all of this hallway wall and the far wall. The ceilings are okay, but they need to tie in, obviously, where we took the coving off. They're not plastering this wall. This can be repaired all the way up the landing to the landing. They've already plastered this third bedroom, as you've already seen. They will be plastering all of this room in its entirety, including the ceiling. Oh, just realised they've already plastered that. Fantastic. They'll be replastering all of this room, this psychedelic room, quite a big room, including the ceiling, and they will be plastering from about here all the way around to about here. And then around the bath we're going to be cladding that part. We've also added spotlights into the bathroom here. And then I guess it's a second fix where all the radiators will be getting put back on, new radiators, so all new radiators, and the flooring. I think we'll need to go around the floorboards, make sure they're all tight, because I've noticed there's some squeaky ones here and there and some loose ones. Not too bad, but we'll need fixing. So yeah, radiators back on once the decorator's been in and finished at the end. So there's a lot of work to get done yet. But, you know, I'll be interested to see if anybody watches this very early video of ours, what they thought this project would cost. And if they could put it in the comments, that would be fantastic. And then I can update you guys as we go, and see what people's thoughts are, and see what problems we might face. Now, regarding this massive side garden, which would be perfect for extending on, unfortunately, we haven't been able to get permission for that. We haven't actually applied, but what we did do is we got an architect to do some designs and do what's called like a pre-plan. But in amongst doing his work, he discovered that the previous owners of this house had actually applied to do a big extension here on the end, and it had been knocked back. Now, because it was, I think it was over 10 years ago, we can't find the exact details. But what he did say is that to build an entire property here, because of the line of the street, it would stick out. And if you look, because that property ends here, it would probably stick out to here. And they like things to be in lines to the councils. So he thought that was a big reason why maybe these things have been knocked back. So we've decided to take a step back from it and just accept that it's a good sized garden, and that whoever owns it next has got a really good family house. So the goal of this project is to get it back to a nice living condition. We're not talking about knocking walls down here. We're not talking about, you know, making huge alterations. We're talking about getting a nice family house with what we've got. You know, ultimately there are things that could be done further, but you know, when you're an investor, I suppose you have to look at it that you're not going to be living in the property. So you have to be realistic about the costs, and you can't have the costs spiral out of control. Now, there are some projects, I dare say, that investors would not scrimp on, and that would be knocking walls down to open up kitchen diners, but we've already got a kitchen diner. You know, the wall between the living room and the hallway isn't ideal, but it's not something that's worth spending loads of money on. We're still going to have a nice family house at the end of it. So the goal of this really is just to get the walls in good condition, get them all skimmed, new doors, new flooring, new kitchen, new bathroom, but we're going to be doing it on a realistic budget. We're not going to be going for high end, we're going for, not low end, we're going for a step up. We're going to make it somewhere where people want to be, and it's already in a good location. As I say, it's got a great garden. Potentially can't build on that garden because of previous planning that was knocked back. Historically, we've checked with the council, and there was some previous planning that actually previous owners had put through, and it got knocked back. And the files of that old, we haven't been able to obtain them, but we had an architect out over the last 5 years, and he had a look at it, and he believed that it would probably get knocked back because it's not in line with the street, which is frustrating, but it doesn't mean that it can't be rolled out in the future, so it still adds to the value of the property. You know, somebody who does eventually own this house would probably extend on it and make it a much bigger house, so it does have a lot going for it. So the goal of this project is to get it back to a nice living condition. We're not talking about knocking walls down here. We're not talking about, you know, making huge alterations. We're talking about getting a nice family house with what we've got. You know, ultimately there are things that could be done further, but you know, when you're an investor, I suppose you have to look at it that you're not going to be living at the property. So you have to be realistic about the costs, and you can't have the costs spiral out of control. Now, there are some projects, I dare say, that investors would not scrimp on, and that would be knocking walls down to open up kitchen diners, but we've already got a kitchen diner. You know, the wall between the living room and the hallway isn't ideal, but it's not something that's worth spending loads of money on. We're still going to have a nice family house at the end of it. So the goal of this really is just to get the walls in good condition, get them all skimmed, new doors, new flooring, new kitchen, new bathroom, but we're going to be doing it on a realistic budget. We're not going to be going for high end, we're going for, not low end, we're going for a step up. We're going to make it somewhere where people want to be, and it's already in a good location. As I say, it's got a great garden. Potentially can't build on that garden because of previous planning that was knocked back. Historically, we've checked with the council, and there was some previous planning that actually previous owners had put through, and it got knocked back. And the files of that old, we haven't been able to obtain them, but we had an architect out over the last 5 years, and he had a look at it, and he believed that it would probably get knocked back because it's not in line with the street, which is frustrating, but it doesn't mean that it can't be rolled out in the future, so it still adds to the value of the property. You know, somebody who does eventually own this house would probably extend on it and make it a much bigger house, so it does have a lot going for it. Now, regarding this massive side garden, which would be perfect for extending on, unfortunately we haven't been able to get permission for that. We haven't actually applied, but what we did do is we got an architect to do some designs and do what's called like a pre-plan. But in amongst doing his work, he discovered that the previous owners of this house had actually applied to do a big extension here on the end, and it had been knocked back. Now, because it was, I think it was over 10 years ago, we can't find the exact details, but what he did say is that to build an entire property here, because of the line of the street, it would stick out. And if you look, because that property ends here, it would probably stick out to here, and they like things to be in lines to the councils. So he thought that was a big reason why maybe these things have been knocked back. So we've decided to take a step back from it and just accept that it's a good sized garden, and that whoever owns it next has got a really good family house. The channel is going to be all about various things, and we're going to see where it takes us. But I thought I would bring you to this property refurb and show you it, because it's quite interesting. I enjoy the property game very much, and I thrive on, you know, doing the refurbs. I like to see the finished product. I like to make houses good. So yeah, I thought I'd bring you here, and hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will keep bringing you back until the project's finished. So that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully someone sees it out there, because like I say, it's very early. We haven't actually got many subscribers. In fact, I don't even think we've got any at this point. It's that new. We do have a Facebook page from our old business, which had 55,000 subscribers, I believe. That was the business that we started our ventures on many years ago, selling really cheap costume jewellery online. And we decided that at our stage in life, we want to revisit the online venture, start something a bit different, something a bit exciting, hence why I'm here doing this. And hopefully, like I say, gain some traction. So look, thank you everyone, it's nice talking to you, whoever you might be, and I welcome any comments, and see you again soon. Bye bye.